So I have this tough job of keeping you awake after lunch, right? So yeah, I don't know what kind of a dance and whistles we have to do, but I will do my best for sure. I was asked actually yeah, let me see this one that I'm able to use this one as well. I was asked by Christine to actually talk about in this partnership, but more about like what is making success and growth when it comes to the partnership. And obviously, as I'm coming from EAT Food, so it means that, you know, that's what we do. We do partnership, we do network, we do innovation, you know, and we are at the same time trying to really do this transformation of the food systems. So this is really my favorite topic. For one reason is that alone, you know, we do nothing. And this really goes for EAT as a EAT, even other kicks, but also EAT Food as a whole. On our own, you know, we are nothing. We have our partners, we have the expertise, we have basically even participants. So the ecosystem that is around there is much greater than actually only the partners. And of course, here in Lithuania, I have a little like maybe a special place in my heart, because I have been coming here since 2018. I think when you had the first Agri Food Forum, and you know, huge progress and absolutely fantastic work. So once again, you know, big congratulations for all of you, and how your country is actually pulling together this importance of the agri-food sector. So, you know, I very admirative for you. So I really want to keep this rather kind of like short, and you can see that, well, Marja-Liisa, maybe your slides are not quite right, because we can see that there's like some proteins and, well, title at least is right. And it is simply that I really wanted to put this introduction and further the panel conversation, hopefully, in the context. So when we are talking about the partnership, what we are talking about. And so it's not like general. Yes, we can also give you presentations of all these fantastic institutions in Europe. They are absolutely crucial and important. But if we now are in bioeconomy conference here and summit, I think, and because it is so important topic, I think most of you heard it earlier this morning, and we really are going somewhere. This is my feeling. We are really going somewhere. Maybe the path is still, to some extent, long. It may be narrow, but it will get broader. And so I think that, you know, we will have a lot of opportunities there. So I, at the same time, wanted to tie this conversation on not only on proteins, but understanding the connection between protein diversification and bioeconomy. And also at the same time to say, hey, if we now today talk about partnership, let's talk about how we can make this particular topic and the partnership and collaboration go stronger. Okay, is that a deal? Thank you. Excellent. So I'm going to change this one. So I have here, I was kind of thinking that, okay, what are, in a way, if I'm looking at our proteins and the paper, actually you can also download, was looking at all the kind of like 7 different areas of, let's say, the recommendations in the policy areas that are going to make a success. Now, it just happens to be that they are absolutely, I think, the same that we can think about for in bioeconomy and in partnership in that one. So first one is, we absolutely need to think about systems thinking, and all the actors have to be on board. So what does it mean, all the actors? Like, yeah, like farmers, yes. Like business, yes. Students, yes. Consumers, absolutely. So every single, let's say, participant in this ecosystem has to be on board, also including finance, and whether it is public or whether it is private. So this is really a given. And when we look at the, you know, the bioeconomy or protein diversification, is for sure that, you know, and in the partnership, you know, if you only work with one type of a people, you don't go very far. So what you need to do is you need to have really a huge scope of a people that you are partnering with, that you are collaborating in order to be able to do so. And in protein diversification, for example, and bioeconomy, if you would be saying that, okay, there's only one thing that you need to do. Well, no, it doesn't look like that, and it doesn't work like that. In food, for example, if we say that let's all turn into vegans, we are going to create a huge problem, in the whole diversity. And no, that's not the solution. So, we really need to look at what is happening in this kind of with a systemic view. We move a little bit what is happening here. That's very crucial. And then it goes also for the partnership collaboration. Make sure that you have as many different people around you to talk about these things as you can. And then we look at it from the point of view that we like to talk in EAT Food with the very diverse institutions that we basically collaborate with. Then the second one is farmers are pivotal for protein diversification. Well, and surely for bioeconomy as well. I mean, that goes without saying. And it is too bad, obviously, that currently, there is this kind of like they are very angry, and they kind of feel that, they are not heard. Yeah, but, I think that we cannot still say that, okay, we do what you want, and we are not going to bring these difficult questions on table. But they are difficult for all. But also not to minimize their suffering, because there is something wrong in the system, that is for sure. And it has to be corrected, because we absolutely desperately need also their involvement and in this whole food system. Then third point here is policy support in going to market. I mean, whether it is farmers, whether it is, we talk about consumers and say, okay, they are not interested in, they don't understand about bioeconomy, they don't understand about protein diversification. Well, why? Well, because in many cases it's not even available. So it is still something very virtual. And so it means that the market has to be also at the same time built, and we need to help in the policies to make that happen. Because if we don't, it's going to either take years and years and years and years and years, and still we have the same problem. And we have no time, Not a doomsday lady, but I really have to say that, we really need to accelerate. We really need to accelerate for many reasons. And there's also this opportunity side that comes from the market. And there's huge opportunities. We heard this morning, so I'm not really going to go through them, but we should really seriously think about it, and then the policymakers should also, in a way, follow, because often it is not the policymakers that are there for first. They often come when there's the opportunity, then they have means to decide what to do with that one. But they should decide, and that's where the courage as well is needed. Then we have the need for public funding and investment in R&D and infrastructure. I mean, this is also was heard this morning, but it's for sure. I mean, if investments are needed, and if they are not there, what is it like? We continue investing in the old stuff. So what do? Then nobody's happy. And then we will actually go deeper in the problems that we have. So that is for sure. But then there has to be a transition. These kind of transitions are very delicate. So it means that we actually need to have also somebody who's also helping, to bridge that gap and go further. And these are kind of like generalities, but this is absolutely true. If there's no gap, for example, if we talk with the farmers, and then at the same time, if we are not developing this new market, well, we are stuck, so to speak. So then, improvement of the regulatory process. We heard quite a lot of some of the things as well. Regulatory by itself, it's not a problem. It is mainly that how does that fit into the strategies that we have in Europe? So that's, once again, I'm calling for national, member states, agri-food strategies that are done together with the entrepreneurs or economy ministry, with the health, and also with the agriculture. And not only I'm only mentioning those three, but there's climate, there's all of these things that also have to be involved. That's really important, because if there's no common, at least a roadmap, then how can we go further? We cannot. Because it's like dancing tango, with valse music or something, we don't really get the feet going on the right way.
And then, obviously, education and attracting new talent, for sure. Of course, the younger generation, we know that they are very technology savvy. They are probably looking at also like things that, what we are thinking about food, what we are talking about like environment, they probably have different views. And so that's probably going to help, but we might have to wait a little while. So it means that we already have to do something in that one, and we are already doing, this doesn't mean that nothing has been done. A lot of things are done. It is just that it has to have a focus. And the focus, for example, is in bioeconomy, in protein diversification, because those alone can have actually huge impact on the things that we are doing. And then, well, it just happens to be that, in Europe, we are investing a lot of money, resources, because we have all these instruments, exchange programs, on an R&D per se, for example, on protein diversification, bioeconomy in a way, likewise, biotech, certainly. So it also means that, well, we invest there, but then when those startups and scale-ups are actually quite ready to go to the market, well, they may be stuck for a little while in the novel food process and procedures. And often there comes the choice. They have to go either to US or they have to go to Singapore, because they say, otherwise we die. Because in this case, for example, and it's in biotech in many ways, as well as in proteins, that investors cannot follow. Investors say, I cannot wait for you to, your novel food procedure to come out, and then, or when it's out, then I will invest. But then, the scale-up may be busted, before actually being able to do something. So these are really important things. And at the same time, we have in Europe a leadership in R&D in this one. But then, why don't we harvest what we are investing? This is my question that I'm really asking, is that, why we never talk about those gaps, how come that, those unicorns are not nowhere? Well, and at the same time, I'm talking now about food, So these are probably some of the reasons that are there. Then maybe final thing is that, this crisis that we are currently living, if there's anything good about that one, is that it has been putting now agri-food sector right in the center of attention. We need to eat every day. And it is obviously a really important factor in economy per se. And on a piece, food security. What kind of a impact it will have, on us and in the future. And all of these things that I just mentioned, I think I don't have any more there, is about partnership. It's about collaboration. It's about like finding those partners that are actually really fantastic for you, and not only maybe one, and don't make it too simple for yourself, make it hard. Look for improbable partners as well. Look for improbable maybe areas that, sectors that you would like to involve. I mean, of course, in food, hopefully we will go to biotech as well, in the way that food will have a fair share on that funding, because currently food in the biotech area in funding is very small, because food is not necessarily considered in the same way as energy, yet food is energy. And so it means that, for example, this is just a picture of EAT Food Network, and it can give you a little bit of understanding that when we go from higher education to industry partners and research and centers and NGOs, so there's a lot of space still on the paper, so we can add new partners. But certainly, this is the way to go there. And then, just as an example for you is that obviously the opportunities are also there. Within EAT Food, we do have like 3 missions, and all of these are looking for collaboration, partnerships, when it comes to healthier lives through food, reducing risk for a fair, resilient food system, and net zero food system per se. And one of those priority areas is indeed protein diversification. One of them is regenerative agriculture and labeling, packaging, and transparency. And this IFF, what we call innovation funding framework is actually on, so there's also an opportunity, obviously, to get consortiums together, see with whom you want to actually really work, and make proposals. So this is maybe something concrete for you to also take away from. So I promised you to, and I'm really obviously attached because I'm leading this think tank on protein diversification within EAT Food. And you know what? These folks there's still some missing in these photos, but these are like really people who are behind there. So they are scientists, they are the, CEOs, they are folks who are absolutely, engaged in seeing that, what do we need to do in order to lift those barriers for the success? And this is also what we are trying to do today here, is that we are trying to see what do we need to do together in order to lift those barriers for success. They are barriers for success. They are not barriers per se. And I think this is really important to keep in mind when, if you have people around, whatever you do, that are passionate, that are really willing to give everything what they have. A little bit like what Augustus was also describing with the fish, but you don't have to go fishing in order to test that one, but why not? But for surely you can also test it in other ways. And this think tank and these members, have really made the difference. We have been able to open the doors in the DGs, Agri, Grow, Sante, and then even over Commissioner van der Leyen's cabinet doors. Normally that takes 5 to 10 years to open some of those doors, and we have been able to do it with these folks and around the paper that was actually really done. So you can download the policy brief, but then I think that really most important thing is really that, what are those barriers that we have identified and we want to live together in order to make bioeconomy, the whole agri-food transformation, a successful one. And this is kind of a ball that I want to throw you. And I hope that, there was also one interesting story about one entrepreneur, startupper, who said that I didn't dare last year to go and talk with people. Now, if you have not yet today talked with somebody, go and talk about it, whether it is your idea, whether it is these kind of things that are maybe bothering you, that you would like to lift these barriers together. Go for it, talk, and then the partnership and collaboration will take place. Now, this is a little bit inspirational, so facts will follow, I'm sure. So, you will see a whole bunch of great speakers on this panel that are representing actually institutions and organizations that are there also to help to make this collaboration go easier and to line on those partnerships. So, thank you very much.